Hey boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today, we're taking a look at 3 packs of the Core Elite. These are figures made by Lannard, they're Walmart exclusives, and basically my experience with the Core as a kid was they were like G.I. Joe. And to borrow a phrase from another YouTuber, Hooded Cobra Commander 788, remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe. That was my attitude as a kid. I never liked the Core. There's a lot of people out there that do like Core figures, and now that G.I. Joe is basically extinct in toy stores, I occasionally find myself looking at Core figures. These guys were getting blown out on clearance, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to pick them up and check them out. We've got Puma vs. Diesel, Ogre vs. Snakebite, and Plague vs. Boulder. The back of these faction face-off packages show off artwork for the other The Cure and Plague characters. Looks like there's a lot more good guys than bad guys. Here I've got Puma and Diesel out of the package, and right away, I think Puma is a pretty decent action figure, and Diesel is basically garbage. Diesel is part of the Cure, and he is a diver. I know that sometimes people would complain if scuba divers had masks on they couldn't remove, but how about a scuba diver that doesn't have a mask at all? He can't do his primary function. He can be a SEAL on land, but he looks like he's a diver. To me, anyway. Maybe it's just a tactical uniform. But, so he's got long blonde hair and a face sculpt. It's okay. No real problem there. He's got some sloppy paint here on his neck. He comes with a really, really big spear gun. Okay. He's got US Diver, OS Diver, maybe that says. DS Diver, Deep Sea Diver? I don't know. He's got divers on his leg there. His gun and his knife are permanently holstered in there. They're sculpted on details. Even though they're nicely sculpted in a way that it seems like you could pull them out, you can't. No paint's on the back. So he's just really bland. He does have articulation at the head, at the shoulders, elbows, hips, and knees. Not terrible looking, but just, I don't know, just not that much fun, I don't think. Puma, on the other hand, I think is such a better figure. She has better looking paint apps, a more detailed sculpt it seems, and way better accessories. So she's got a head here with a ponytail. It can move side to side, all the way around. Her pivot's actually at the back of her head there, as opposed to Diesel's, who was at the base of his neck. I find that oddly inconsistent between the figures. She has good shoulder joints. They're basically the same as Diesel's, and she has elbow joints. She has no articulation in the... Oh, wait, she does have an articulation point in the torso? I can't tell. Yeah, slight one. There's a little pivot there. But it wants to spring back immediately. That's bizarre. Alright, so now I don't know what's going on with that. She has decent hips. They are a little bit limited by the way she's sculpted, and then she has good knee joints. For accessories, Puma has a gun holstered on her hip there that is removable. That's awesome. She has a crossbow which fell off, but plugs into her back. It's slightly awkward, but it's cool that she can carry it back there, which she can hold in her hand. So she's got a pistol and a crossbow, and she has these knives that peg onto her back, which I think is really cool. They do fall off pretty easily. All of her accessories aren't plugged in super tight. The tolerances aren't that great. But she looks good. She displays well, functions well. I like this figure a lot more. Next up, we've got Snakebite vs. Ogre. But the first thing I got to say about Snakebite is she's identical to Puma, except for with a different head and different paint scheme. So we know that she's a decent figure already, and Ogre just has a lot of problems. I'm going to go pretty quickly through Snakebite here. She's got an interesting head sculpt with hair combing over her one eye, and this side shaved off. I feel like I would rather have this head on my bad guy character and the other head on my good guy character, but maybe that's something they were going for. She's got the tactical vest, she's got nice camouflage on her pants, working holster for her pistol, peg hole in her back for her crossbow, and the knives clip on the back. So not a bad figure. Again, she's got the knees, hips, that weird articulation point in her torso that doesn't really do anything. She's got elbow joints, shoulder joints, and her head can move around. And then we've got Ogre. He's got an articulation point in his head. It doesn't move very far. He's got this really high collar, and it stops his helmet from moving. He has okay shoulder joints. He's got elbow joints. He's got hip joints, like an old Star Wars figure. Not hip joints like the two girl figures had. Again, so he's like the diver, you know, he can't... The articulation isn't even uniform between these characters. He doesn't sit down real well either because of the way his hips are sculpted. He's thicker, he's clunkier. He's just kind of weird compared to the other guy. Or compared to the girls. They feel like they're from two different toy lines, or maybe they're from two different eras of the core. If this guy's visor thing flipped down, that would be really cool. Instead, we get to look at his ugly face all the time, and he comes with a shotgun that doesn't look like it's scaled to match him. It does peg on his back, which I guess I'll take as a win. But he can't hold it in his hands very well. The handle is so big that it doesn't really fit in his hand. I mean, I can stick it in there, and he can hold it, but it just looks weird. He can't aim it, because if you turn it forward, he can't grip his hand around it anymore. Yeah. He's reaffirming my dislike for the core. The third and final pack we have is Plague vs. Boulder. Plague here is the leader of the bad guys, but he kind of just looks like an army builder. And then we have Boulder over here, who has a nice character to him. You know, he's a big, strong dude. But let's take a look at him again, up close. Just like with the other packs, this feels like I'm playing with two different generations of toys. Plague here is clunkier and just not as nice of a figure. He's got articulation at the head. It's a wacky ball joint type of thing. He's got like a little visor piece over his one eye. He's got a real broad chest, but he's very thin. He's got elbow and shoulder articulation that's not too bad. But you can't... Oh, he has a swivel. Oh, that's good. I don't know if I noticed that. Let me go back here to Ogre real quick. Did Ogre have a swivel? Oh yeah, Ogre had a swivel. That's nice, at least. Alright. He comes with two silver guns. One's sort of a silenced laser, maybe, and the other one's a short-nosed pistol. He's got a pistol permanently holstered in here. No way of holding his accessories. He's got like those vintage Star Wars hips, and he has knee joints. So this is like the way I remember core figures, not during the height of G.I. Joe, not during the 80s when they were O-ring figures, but once they switched to this style construction. G.I. Joe had this style construction for a while in the 2000s. It's just not as much fun. Not being able to make guys kick out to the side and stuff isn't as cool. He's got okay paint, I guess. It's not a bad figure, but he just... I don't know. It reminds me of when we were doing Dollar Store or Low Budget Bonanza. Low Budget Bonanza was a Monday show here on SEO Toy Review for a while, and we did Dollar Store toys and stuff. And that's what this guy feels like to me. Next up, we've got Boulder. And Boulder's still not perfect, but he's a lot better. He feels like the two female characters we took a look at. He has articulation at the neck. He's got terrible shoulder articulation. I mean, he's got a good joint there, but these shoulder pads just stop all movement. He's got shoulder joints, nothing at the wrist. He does have the swivel at the elbow, but again, he's got elbow pads that are hindering that, so that's not great. He's got a brown, short, shotgun-like pistol. He's got a dark brown billy club nightstick thing, which is pretty cool. I do like the pattern on his chest armor. He has those vintage Star Wars hips. I'm never a fan of those on action figures. If it's possible to do other hips. The girl's got better hips than him. That's a shame. And then his belt keeps it from moving up very high. So he really can't sit well. Looks like he's on a swing. He's got knee joints. The one cool redeeming thing he's got is he has places to store his accessories. There's a loop here for the billy club. There is a holster. Not as nice as the girl's holster, but there is a holster here that clips his shotgun into it. So he's a better figure, sort of. He's not as good as the females, but not a terrible figure either.
We are the cure, and we are the plague.
So at the end of the day, these sets did not change my opinion of the core. They're okay at best. They feel like dollar store toys. They're not G.I. Joes. I can't I can't even put them in the same room as my G.I. Joe collection. I don't know. If you like them, great. Have fun with them. You know, I could see it if you you know, you can't find G.I. Joes and you wanna get your kid into that Army good versus evil military type battle toy. It's a fine introduction, but the figures, they're just not that good. So anyway, thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos.